That hoodie you wore yesterday, it probably cost more than last year. And for your coffee, it's the same story. And if you're planning to get a car repair or a new laptop soon, that bill is definitely gonna sting. This isn't just inflation, it's not just supply chain issues either. This is tariffs, and right now, the US is rolling out one of the biggest tariff pushes in decades. Prices are shifting, jobs are changing, and if you don't understand what's happening, you'll feel it in your wallet before you even know why. So here's what we're gonna do. We'll break down what tariffs actually are, how they're already changing your everyday costs, which jobs are on the line, and what you can do about it. Firstly, what even is a tariff? Now, think of it as a tax, but only on stuff coming into the country from somewhere else. Governments use them to make imports more expensive, so people buy more local products instead. Sounds simple, right? But here's the catch. Tariffs don't just stay at the border. Once that fee is added, you're the one who's gonna be paying for the cost. And the US has just added tariffs on imports from over 60 countries, including big trading partners like India, Brazil, Mexico, and the European Union. We're talking about everything from car parts to electronics to food. Some are hitting right now, others are delayed but hanging over the market like a storm cloud. And these aren't just random. Governments pick and choose which industries to protect, like agriculture, tech, or clothing. So the impact hits certain products hard while leaving other products barely changed. Okay, so what is actually hitting your life right now? Let's start with the everyday stuff. Grocery stores are already adjusting price tags. Imported ingredients that go into everyday snacks like certain cheeses, cocoa powder, or packaged sauces now come with extra costs. It's not just the main product either. Even the paper for coffee cups or the syrup for your latte can be affected if they come from a tariffed country. This means prices don't just explode overnight. They sneak up. A 30-cent increase here, a dollar increase there, and before you know it, your monthly grocery bill is way higher than last year. Clothing is also feeling the pinch, especially from brands that manufacture overseas. Some stores are quietly cutting product lines altogether because importing them no longer makes financial sense. That's why you might notice fewer seasonal jobs or limited editions in stores. And it's not just buying new stuff. Repairs are getting pricier too. Need your phone fixed? If that replacement part comes from a tariff country, that means that you have to expect the bill to be a bit steeper than last time. Electronics are one of the fastest movers, with so many components crossing multiple borders before they even reach you. A single tariff can raise prices on everything from laptops to gaming consoles. That jump might start small, but analysts are already warning about bigger spikes if more trade restrictions roll in later this year. The bottom line is that if you shop, eat, or use tech, you're already paying for these changes. If higher prices hit your wallet first, then you should expect that the jobs you want or the job you already have is at risk. When tariffs raise the cost of doing business, companies have to make decisions fast. That could mean delaying new hires, freezing wages, or shifting production to countries that aren't affected. And when production moves, so do jobs. For manufacturing towns, it isn't just about one country leaving, it's a ripple effect. A factory that slows down orders means fewer shifts for suppliers, less work for local truckers, and even smaller paychecks for nearby businesses, like diners or repair shops. Retail is another hit zone. If imports get pricier, big chains may carry fewer products, which means less work for warehouse staff, shipping crews, and store employees. Even seasonal jobs, like those extra holiday hires, could be on the chopping block. And let's not forget side hustles. If you sell imported goods online like sneakers or gadgets, tariffs can eat into your margins, which could make your hustle not so worth it anymore. The scary part is, the slowdown doesn't always look dramatic at first. It starts with fewer overtime hours, shorter contracts, and temporary pauses on hiring that quietly stretch into months. So even if you're not in manufacturing or retail, the job market you're going to be stepping into is going to be more competitive and more cautious on who they choose, all because of decisions made by trade policy. Tariffs don't hit super fast, they slowly sneak up to you. With inflation, you feel it all at once. Groceries jump, rent jumps, gas jumps, and everyone's talking about it. Tariffs, they play the long game. $1 more here, $3 there. By the time you notice, it's been months of slow, steady increases. That's why a lot of people don't realize to connect the dots. They just think, wow, everything's more expensive lately, without realizing that a policy change that was made 6 months ago was actually the culprit. And here's the twist. Tariffs aren't spread evenly. They target specific industries. Your soda might cost more because the syrup is imported, but your bread stays the same. Your laptop is pricier, but your headphones, same price. For now. This uneven hit is exactly why this stuff falls under the radar. It's not loud enough to make headlines every single day, but it is draining a wallet bit by bit every single day. And when you notice, the damage has already been done. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, companies are already adjusting, raising prices, cutting costs, and finding cheaper suppliers. And those moves can set off a chain reaction that touches almost every part of your daily life. It's like an economic version of a slow leak of your tire. You don't feel it right away until one morning you're late for work and your car won't move. Okay, enough of the negatives. Let's talk about what you can actually do to avoid these tariffs from steamrolling your wallet. Step 1. Start paying attention to where things come from. I'm not saying you have to become a full-time labor detective, but just glancing at Made in before you buy can save you money in the long run. Products from countries with heavy tariffs will almost always creep up in price faster. Step 2. If you know you're going to need something soon, don't wait. Big ticket stuff like laptop, tires, or even that gaming console you've been eyeing, buy before the next round of price hikes hit. Step 3. Don't sleep on the secondhand market. Used or refurbished gear is basically tariff proof because the tax is on new imports. That means a certified refurbished phone or a pre-owned camera can save you hundreds without sacrificing quality. Step 4. Buy local when you can. I know it's not always possible, but when you do, you're not only avoiding the import tax, but you're keeping more of your money in the community. Step 5. For stuff that won't expire, buy in bulk. If you know it's gonna cost you more later, lock in today's price while you still can. This works for pantry items, toiletries, and even cleaning supplies. The bottom line is that tariffs hit slow, but they do hit hard. So, if you're able to decide now rather than later, you can save hundreds of dollars in the future and dodge many of the tariffs that you would have gotten. Okay, so prices going up is one thing, but tariffs also mess with something way bigger: your future job opportunities. When a company costs jump, they have to make a choice: raise prices, cut staff, or slow down hiring. And spoiler, a lot of them choose that second or third option. For anyone in high school and college right now, this matters. Because those entry-level jobs, internships, and seasonal gigs, they're often the first to vanish when a business's budget gets tight. Think about retail jobs in electronic stores. If fewer products are coming in because they're too expensive to import, you don't need as many people to sell them. Or think about local cafes. If their coffee beans cost more, they might cut hours instead of raising prices too much. And here's the tricky part. Sometimes you won't even notice these changes at first. It's not like the business puts up a sign saying, "We're gonna cut 10 jobs this month." It's in the form of fewer overtimes, longer waits to fill positions, and way more competition for the jobs that do open up. On a bigger scale, industries like tech manufacturing, agriculture, and auto production can slow down, which ripples into supporting businesses, shipping, maintenance, and even marketing agencies that depend on those sectors. If you're building your career that depends on global supply chains, tariffs can change the demand for your skill in a matter of months. That's why tracking these trends isn't just something for economists. It's something for you if you want to plan your next steps, whether that's choosing what to study, where to apply for work, or which industries are worth getting into. Long story short, tariffs aren't just about price changes. They're about power shifts in the global job market. And knowing where these job shifts are happening gives you an edge against your competitors. Okay, we've covered how tariffs hit prices and jobs. But here's the real question. What can you actually do if the job market gets shaken up? First, pick industries that are more shock resistant. Things like healthcare, certain parts of tech like cybersecurity, trades, and renewable energy tend to stay in demand no matter what's going on with trade policy. Second, build skills that aren't locked to one location. If you can do work remotely, freelance, or work with digital tools, you're less dependent on a single country's supply chain. Third, you have to stay adaptive. This doesn't mean constantly changing careers, but it does mean watching where opportunities are moving and being willing to pivot when you need to. And here's something that no one tells you in school. Most people actually change careers several times in their life. The ones that did it successfully saw the shifts before they actually happened. Fourth, network like crazy. The bigger your network, the more doors you can knock on when one closes. And right now, online communities, LinkedIn groups, and even Discord servers in your field can be gold mines for connections. Fifth, start building something on the side. A side hustle isn't just extra cash, it's insurance. If your main job takes a hit, you already have a backup plan in motion. And finally, you have to stay informed. And that doesn't mean doom scrolling on news sites every single day. But it does mean knowing the big moves in trade, tech, and hiring so that you're one step ahead. So here's the bottom line. Tariffs aren't just some headline in the news. They're already affecting what jobs you can get, the prices you pay, and even what's available on store shelves. And a quick recap, we've covered how prices can change on everything from groceries to electronics, why certain industries like auto manufacturing and tech are getting hit harder than others, how retaliation from other countries is putting US exports and jobs at risk, and most importantly, how you can take action to protect your wallet and your career. You can't control Washington's trade policies, but you can control your response to them by planning purchases, supporting local, diversifying your skills, and staying one step ahead of industry shifts. If you start making small but smart moves now, you'll be better prepared than 90% of people when the next big policy hits. And trust me, this isn't going to be the last big change you're gonna see. The next economic wave is already forming, and it's tied to AI, automation, and which industries are about to shrink or explode in the next 5 years. That's exactly what I'm gonna be covering in my next video. Will you even have a job after college or even in high school? We're gonna be breaking down the jobs that are disappearing, the ones that are safe, and the skills you need for this next AI gold rush in the future. And if you found this breakdown useful, hit subscribe so more people like you can see this video. Alright, that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.